It's been a busy time for me lately, and my next video project is taking longer to edit than I expected, so today's video will be short and sweet in light of this. It's been a while since I've made a more trading-intensive ESO guide, so I'm eager to finally discuss one of the most frequently asked questions that I tend to see from novice traders. Alright, let's get into it. A member of my Discord server asked the following question in the Trading Help channel the other day. This gamer was wondering if it would be better to sell the Nirncrux trait stone directly on the guild store, or if they should take the trait stone to create a Nirnhoned piece of gear to sell instead, such as a level 1 Nirnhoned weapon that another player could buy for research purposes, or a Nirnhoned CP-160 weapon from a popular and sought-after crafted set. This kind of question highlights a significant and reoccurring sentiment that many traders in ESO will encounter after playing and trading for a while. That being, should I take this item and craft something with it, or should I just sell it as it is? As is the case with most ESO trading questions, the answer is not straightforward. This is why you'll catch me dropping a novel in Discord servers anytime someone asks a seemingly simple question about trading. There often isn't an objectively correct answer. It tends to depend on multiple factors. Ultimately, it comes down to personal preference. There are notions to consider for both scenarios, those being selling materials and selling a crafted item with those materials. Let's take a look at some of the pros and cons that typically apply to these situations to help you make a more informed decision when you find yourself asking this question. Materials are the building blocks of many items in ESO, such as gear, weapons, armor, and potions, among other things. Unsurprisingly, materials are often in high demand. There are always tons of different kinds of players out there looking to get their hands on mats. Thus, materials tend to sell relatively quickly. Materials can usually be sold at a quicker rate than the items that can be crafted from them. If selling items quickly is something that is ultimately of importance to you, perhaps because guild store slots are limited for you, or if you're looking to flip items quickly, or if you just need some quick gold, this is something to consider. Materials can stack, meaning you can list up to 200 of a material in a singular guild store slot if you'd like. This can come in handy if your guild store slots are limited, such as if you're only in one trading guild. For many new players, crafting items such as furnishings or gear isn't always an option. Some players have yet to tackle the crafting side of the game, such as researching traits or learning furnishing plans. This makes selling materials a very accessible means to make gold. Generally speaking, as this observation does not apply to every single situation, although practically speaking, it should, materials do tend to sell for less than the kinds of items that you can craft with them. As I basically just mentioned, a crafted item can usually sell for more than the sum of its parts. Usually. Admittedly, I've seen crafters sell crafted items for less than the crafting cost of said items. I don't know what those gamers were smoking, honestly. But this notion of selling an item for more than its crafting cost is especially prevalent when it comes to selling crafted sets, such as gear, weapons, and jewelry from the most popular craftable PvP and PvE sets. I've been able to sell crafted sets for anywhere from 2 to 4 times the crafting cost, which is fairly lucrative. A crafted item is inherently going to have a more niche market than the market for the materials that were required to make it. Thus, the crafted item will typically take longer to sell. There are tons of reasons why someone may wish to buy Nirncrux. PvPers or PvEers may need it to craft a Nirnhoned weapon to use in battle. A member of a guild may buy Nirncrux to create Nirnhoned weapons for another guildie to be able to research. Guild masters or officers may need Nirncrux to add to a raffle prize. Jeff Bezos' Andes may buy hordes of Nirncrux for investment purposes, the list goes on. But a Nirnhoned research weapon? Well, there's basically only one kind of scenario in which a player would buy one of those, and when there are tons of other traders also selling Nirnhoned weapons to be used for research, yeah, you can start to see why it may take a minute for one to sell if you price it accordingly. There is definitely some merit when it comes to tapping into a niche market in ESO though, regardless of the kind of item that you're selling. If you can find an opportunity to sell a crafted item that no one else happens to really be selling at the moment, that would be a great opportunity to make stonks, and that would be more of a pro than a con, of course. It isn't always practical or even possible to be stacking crafted items on a guild store, like 200 couches or what have you. Although some crafted items can stack in a practical manner, such as potions and consumables. But because crafted items like gear cannot stack, and that it isn't entirely practical to stack some crafted items, this means that more guild store slots will be needed to list your items. For example, 10 Nirncrux can take up a singular guild store listing, whereas 10 level 1 Nirnhone weapons would take up 10 guild store slots. Consider how important guild store slots are to you when determining the best course of action. Do recall that each trading guild allows you to use up to 30 listing slots on their trader. Being able to craft items requires you to invest some time and money into the crafting aspect of the game. This could mean leveling up crafting skill lines, researching traits, or learning furnishing plans. This isn't always a feasible option for those that are relatively new to the game. To summarize everything and conclude this discussion, materials typically sell faster and they can be stacked. Selling materials is both an easily accessible means to make gold for beginners and a great means to quickly flip items for profit for the more experienced, sweaty tryhard traders. Crafted items require a bit of an investment on your part to be able to even make them, and they can take a little longer to sell, but they tend to sell for more than the sum of their parts. The fact that certain crafted items have niche uses can impact how quickly and for how much they sell, both negatively or positively, depending on factors such as how many other traders are listing the same items. So, should you sell that material or craft something with it to then sell? That's up to you to decide, my friend. Hopefully, some of these insights can help you make a more informed decision that resonates with your trading interests. There are definitely other points to consider, but the aforementioned ones are the most prevalent ones that can at least give you a foundation for your own personal argument as to why you may decide to ultimately consider one trading strategy over another at any given point. If you have any additional trading questions about this topic or insights of your own, feel free to let us know in the comments. But that's all for today. Thanks for watching. Thank you to my YouTube members for the additional support, and I will see you gamers in the next video. Cheers.